Yo guys, what is up? A very good morning and welcome to a new daily market outlook. So a very nice movement on the dollar index yesterday. As we can clearly see, we saw some further downside, which resulted in my pound dollar trade hitting my take profit, but I'll showcase that in a second. Without further ado, let's just dive in, see what the markets have been doing and see where these dollar pairs are going to be heading next. Starting off with the dollar index, what we can currently see on the dollar index is that we broke minor structure over here and pretty much have created supply over here. So from this area of supply, I am expecting some further downside on the dollar. I am pretty much just going to be keeping an eye out for either this zone over here and of course that swing low over here, which has not yet been taken out, which will then hopefully also result in the dollar index hitting this area of daily demand. That for me still stands and is still the preferable option when looking at the dollar index. For me personally, it's just so much more logical if we were to take out liquidity underneath this trend line, dive in towards demand before then seeing that upside continuation, or of course if we see it close underneath this low, further downside continuation. But for the time being, I am aiming at least for price to hit below this trend line and possibly also hit that area of daily demand. That's mainly because of the fact that the lower time frame trends on the dollar index are currently bearish. So with that said, let's head over to our first pair, which is Aussie dollar. And Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar saw some interesting price action yesterday. As we can see, we initially saw a reaction to that area of 4-hour supply located exactly over here. As we can see, came in towards supply and then saw that bearish candle over here on the lower time frame. This did cause some nice setups to occur, especially over here at a later time of day, just prior to the New York session. Over here we had our initial reaction from this area of supply over here. Then for the downside, once again we saw a pullback up in towards the upside. Then again price tried to continue further in towards the downside. However, then what you saw is that we reacted beautifully to this area of what is now 15-minute demand, and from there we started to rise up higher. So once this structure over here was broken, and personally I did not trade Aussie dollar due to the fact that I was still in that pound dollar position, I just skipped this. But looking at the 15-minute, once that structure broke, I definitely knew, okay, well, I am not interested in this pair at all anymore. So looking at Aussie dollar overall, what is next for this pair? So just deleting all these minor bits of structure, because I have to admit Aussie dollar is looking a bit messy. But once again, let's just quickly dive in towards the daily time frame. So when looking at this daily time frame, what I'm mainly focused on and what I'm really keeping my eye on at the moment is that the fact that we could still move up higher in towards, for instance, this highest area of supply located over here, because as we can clearly see over here, we have these two descending highs where above liquidity has been built up. So on Aussie dollar, we could still grab that liquidity above that high, kind of dive in towards this area of supply and then see that further downside continuation. That's pretty much what I'm going to be looking for on Aussie dollar. At the moment, not interested in shorting this pair at all, just due to the fact that the bullish nature is a little bit too much for me at the moment. Also not seeing any really nice areas of supply which I would love to target. The only other area that I am keeping my eyes out for is this 4-hour area of supply. So this black line on the 4-hour baseline over here, which is also our extreme, or you could call it extreme supply inside of that area of daily supply. So if we dive in towards there, we could still see that bearish reaction. However, 4-hour trend will then be bullish, so not really interested in engaging with Aussie dollar until the overall trend on this pair has switched. So that said, let's head over to euro dollar. And euro dollar played out beautifully yesterday. As you guys all know, and you can watch the video back from yesterday, I was waiting for these green candles to get hit, and as you can clearly see, we tapped my black line over here, and this black line is not random, guys. We tapped my black line to absolute perfection. I was at that point in time looking for shorts, but because of the fact that I was in pound dollar, I wasn't really interested in it. Eventually we did hit a 1 to 1.23. However, personally just didn't take it due to the fact that I was also in some other positions as well. But looking at euro dollar, it did look beautiful last night, and we could still see that further downside. So even though the dollar index is also looking good for further downside, in my opinion, euro dollar is for the time being as well. Only until we, let's say, move one more time up in towards these highs, then I will be looking to target further highs on euro dollar, because then I'm not convinced that this area of supply will hold. So that is that for euro dollar. Not much on this pair, to be honest, but looking at the daily real quick as well. Yeah, the daily is just reacting pretty much to these wicks over here, which is acting as an area of demand. And yeah, as far as I know, is that once on the 4 hour, we pretty much take out this area of supply where we're currently located. We don't have any other fresh areas of supply, and it is likely that euro dollar will start pushing up higher. But if we are able, to take out this low down below over here, create a new 15-minute lower low, then we will be looking to continue the bearish trend downwards. So that is that for euro dollar. Let's head over to pound dollar. And pound dollar, so as you guys all know, I shared this position yesterday during the live stream, and yet it ended up hitting my take profit. So pound dollar is clearly just ranging at the moment. Not much is to be said. That's also why I pretty much just decided to close my position out at this point in time. As we can see, we came in towards the area of supply, this bullish candle before the sell-off. As we can clearly see, we reacted exactly to that area of supply, saw the reversal, so there were some pips to be made in this particular situation. But for me, pound dollar overall is just consolidating. Waiting for some more clear direction on this pair before really engaging with it. For the time being, just going to be staying out of pound dollar until we, let's say, hit higher areas of supply, because this area of supply isn't fresh anymore. That's why I'm going to be keeping my eyes out, for instance, for this fresh area of supply or this fresh area of supply. So these bullish candles before the sell, or these bullish candles before the sell. So yeah, that's pound dollar. For the rest, not engaging with it due to its consolidative nature. So let's head over to our next pair, which is Kiwi dollar. And Kiwi dollar, so Kiwi dollar also decided to move up higher. Wasn't a real big fan of it due to the dollar index being bearish at that time. As we can clearly see, we did see some kind of reaction or slowdown in the zone, but still not fantastic price action. Also no real liquidation in the move down, so that's why I was also not that interested. Also, if we went in towards the lower time frame, you can clearly see the 15-minute never really flipped bearish at all. At a certain point in time, this was the push up, the pullback, the push up. I was waiting for this low to get broken before getting into any shorts, but we also didn't break that low. We just continued the bullish trend. So for now, Kiwi dollar is not interesting at all. We also don't have any fresh areas of 4-hour supply. So what does this mean overall for Kiwi dollar? Well, it means that we could target these higher areas of daily and 4-hour supply. So as you guys know, this is an area of daily supply, and this is your extreme daily area of supply. Then looking at the 4-hour, what can we see? Well, on the 4-hour, we have a beautiful buy to sell over here. This is your supply zone, which is also consolidation over here, by the way. And as you guys know, inside consolidation, that's where the orders are going to be. So from there, we're going to be looking for the potential further downside. And inside these higher areas of daily supply, we also have a 4-hour supply zone over here, or you could also take the extreme 4-hour supply zone. But if you were to take this one, then you can already see that we already wicked into this zone pretty much. So I wouldn't be taking that one. I would prefer to trade this zone over here, as it's completely fresh. Furthermore, we also have these beautiful equal highs formed over here, where liquidity lies above. So for Kiwi dollar, waiting for further upside in towards higher areas of supply. With that said, let's over to our last pair, which is gold. And looking at gold, guys, so gold is currently moving bullish. I am anticipating on a close above that level of 1877.16. For the time being, gold is just extremely bullish. We made a 4-hour pullback back down in towards downside. Overall, if I were to quickly just draw in a Fibonacci tool, what we can see, let me just add in the 0.32, because I am very curious to see if we hit that level. No, we just missed it. So what does this mean for gold? Well, it doesn't mean a lot, but a lot of people were looking at this supply zone over here. However, this supply zone isn't really significant for me. Of course, it took out kind of this minor low over here, but it didn't take out any real structure for me personally. That's why I'm not looking for any shorts on gold at the moment. I'm just going to be waiting for a daily close above that level of 1877.16. Then we're going to be waiting for a pullback, and then we can wait for those potential longs. Or if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can also look for shorts from this highest area of supply from approximately 1888 up until 1900. So yeah, that is that for gold, guys, and that is that for today's episode. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate all the support on the channel lately. It really means the world to me. And yeah, just don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks, guys.